figure out your marketing on your own. You don't have to, there's not one size fits all. So figure out what works for you, figure out what you're comfortable with, and go from there. My best advice is don't stand still. You need to take advantage of what's free. And the best free thing that's out there is the Google Business Profile page. It's free. The reviews and your reputation, because that's what people are looking for, some assurance they're hiring the right person and a good person by actual people that you've represented.
My name is Nina, and I'll be the moderator for this webinar. I want to start out by giving a bit of background on our speaker, David Wolf. David Allen Wolf is a partner with Wood, Adder, and Wolf PA based in Jacksonville, Florida. For over 32 years, David Wolf has focused his practice in the area of personal injury. He devotes the bulk of his time and effort to his law practice and client-related work as an attorney and advocate for injury victims and their families. Over the past 5 years, David Wolf has provided marketing advice, tips, and affordable techniques to solo and small firms to help them stay competitive. The webinar presentation will be approximately 1 hour, and then David will be taking audience questions after the presentation is complete. So if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to click that Q&A button at the control panel at the bottom of your screen and submit your questions. Without further ado, here is David to discuss digital and traditional marketing for solo and small firms.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm a big fan of Justia. I've been a client for, I want to say 15 or 20 years. I think I was one of the early adopters. They've been terrific. And I'll be covering some things that Justia has out there as well as other platforms. There's Tim. He's present today. He's the founder of Justia. He's been, Tim and his staff have been really helpful to me through the years. They've been one of my resources. One of several resources I recommend, whether it's Justia or another website host, advisor. I think that's an important part of your marketing team as a small firm. Here are a couple general points to today. And Nina mentioned for the past 5 years, I've been coaching small firms and solo practitioners in the area of marketing. However, I don't do it for money. I'm not setting up a business. I'm not selling anything today. And I think that's the difference between today's marketing seminar and many out there that you're sold some kind of program or coaching. I don't do that. I'm just doing this for fun. I enjoy it. And I made some good contacts by helping others with their marketing, both in the state of Florida and beyond. So today you're not going to triple your income. It's not going to be an automatic fix to getting more clients, and it's not magic or pixie dust. But if you pick up a point or two or three, that helps your marketing, terrific, because it's a no-cost seminar. And again, I'm not selling you anything. As part of marketing, I pulled up a Dr. Seuss quote, and the point of this slide is that figure out your marketing on your own. You don't have to, there's not one size fits all. And I figured out through the years, it's a trial and error for me. And I don't do it the same as big firms or small firms. And a lot of things that I cover in the seminar, marketing people won't like because I use different color schemes and themes and everything else. So figure out what works for you, figure out what you're comfortable with, and go from there. My best advice is don't stand still. And I try not to. So think of what your next marketing venture is going to be. Figure out what you can change and improve upon your current marketing. Today, we will not be discussing billboard ads or TV ads or pay-per-clicks. I think they're fine. They work for small and big firms. I've never gone that direction. The other direction I plan on going, part of which it's very expensive. And I believe unless you're really all out there with the TV ads and billboards and pay-per-clicks, it's like a pebble in the water. So I've been able to get a bit of bang for my buck for what I've done. And so here we go. As to marketing, what I found through the years is a lot of attorneys just want to be a lawyer. They just want to give advice. They don't want to delve into the marketing. And there's an old movie, because I'm old, but it was from the 80s about a young man, Lloyd Dobler in the show, about Say Anything, and he was asked by a father at a dinner with his honor student girlfriend, the Lloyd Dobler, played by John Cusack, and they said, "What do you want to do, Lloyd?" And he gave this quote, and basically at the end of it, he didn't really want to do anything but kickboxing, which is fine. But a lot of attorneys don't want to be marketeers or marketers, and you got to have to break through with that blockage of sorts and see if you can get into some marketing or get somebody to do the marketing for you. So I'm not saying you have to go full-fledged, full force with the guy with the boombox. That's a radio for those that are not from the 80s culture. So maybe it's somewhere in between the formal attorneys and the marketer, but again, you'll figure it out. Let's talk about the good news and bad news for marketing in small firms, because we are on a low budget or fixed budget. So we'll start with the bad news. It's difficult and time consuming and frustrating to do this small firm marketing and especially the online reviews. The good news is the same as the bad news, because if you put the time and effort in and your resources, it will pay for you. It will show you results. But if it was easy, then everyone would put in about 10 minutes a week and that would be it. So starting out with something basic, and some of the things you'll grab onto today, some of them things you already know, but I started doing this when I was 50. So now you know I'm older than 50. But I went ahead and looked at my resume, and I separated into my education, my practice areas, publications, my awards. And I wasn't looking for a job. I'm pretty firmly entrenched in my law firm and also my personal marketing. But I wanted to see what I had going on, what I could add to it, what I could do for community service, and then take these things and promote them on my website, promote them in social media. So I did that. And you see here, I filled in my education, my law firm, some personal information, some awards and designations I've had. I started about 10 plus years ago doing more community service. And then I set forth beginning in 2010 on authoring books. So I've written 12 books. I'm working on my 13th book. And all these combined together, kind of like the big firms where they combine the TV and the billboards and the radio. I've combined more of this grassroots type of marketing and what I stand for to make a good combination for me. And I'm going to cover books and some community service and some of the awards through this presentation today. And I recommend the same for you. And I'm still working on this. So when I did this similar seminar about 2-3 years ago, some things have changed. I've been married longer. That's good. I've written a few more books. I've added on to my community service and some of my awards. So if you're going to do anything with marketing as a small firm, solo practitioner, my best advice is to work on your online profiles, your online reputation, and something that they do at Justia, it's called Yext, to make sure your website is indexed and listed accurately for Google search purposes. So another quote for you is that your reputation's in the hand of others. You can't control it. The only thing you can control is your character. I believe this is an accurate quote. However, I do believe that your online reputation and how it looks and how it performs is something you can improve and promote. You got to do it in an ethical way. It has to be top of mind awareness. And you don't want to take any shortcuts or go to some review farm in Russia or China, because Google will figure that out. So here's something you can watch that might get you motivated or demotivated depending on the effect. There's it's called the Black Mirror series. It's on Netflix, and season 3, episode 1. It's a parody of sorts. It's a satire about how everybody is rating each other, and it's a bit excessive. However, I think part of the point to this show is that your reputation and your rating is your capital in life. And that was the point of this program. So Lacey, I believe the character was starting out at a 4.2 and she took a nosedive to a 0 point something because things didn't go her way. But what I captured from this, like Carl there with the 4.8, he could get into certain restaurants, he could get discounts on tickets, live in certain neighborhoods. I know it's a bit excessive, but kind of the same concept applies as a solo and small law firm for your marketing and case generation. So it was an interesting show you may want to watch. So let's talk about Google. Why I am a big fan of Justia, and it has its own online rating system and directory. I think the most important search engine, the most important reviews you can get and set up is your Google business profile. If you're going to do anything, you have to have the Google business profile in order. You have to have it all set up, professional. And in my opinion, it has to be linked to a very good and robust website that will then continue to impress the person then to call you. Google business profile is what it's termed today. What it's going to be termed tomorrow, I don't know. It used to be called Google Maps. It used to be called 2 or 3 other things, but today it's called Google Business Profile. And if you have a good website provider, a good internet coach, which I do, you get it set up, and you got to make sure it matches up to an address. It usually can't go to a house or a P.O. box or something where 22 lawyers, other law firms are. So let's talk about some basics with the Google Business Profile. You can search yours if you have one or others by just putting in your law firm name and your zip code, and it should show up on the right side of the page. You can copy the URL and then shorten it to make sure it's easy accessed by others. The URL that comes out is way too long to send, so you want to shorten it or hyperlink it to something that's in an email or text message. Only a person with a Gmail address can post a review. So your population of people that can post a Google review is already limited to somebody with a Gmail address. But keep in mind that not all Gmail addresses are johndoe@gmail.com. I have a Gmail address is dwolf@davidallenwolf.com, and I can post Google reviews by logging onto Chrome or other search engines. So you can try it, but keep in mind if they don't have a Gmail address, they're not going to be able to post. And Google's kind of funny. If somebody sets up a Gmail address and immediately posts a review, they might flag that and it might not stick. I have found that clients and contacts need guidance when it comes to the Google Maps or Google Business Profile. They need guidance on how to post a review. They need reminders. And another key that's very important, I think a big no-no, do not post a link on your social media, on your website where anybody and everybody can find your Google page and post a review, because some people may be looking to torpedo you. So I always make sure the person's 100% satisfied. If there's any hesitation, yeah, you got me a lot of money, but it took longer than expected. I thank them for being a client, and I don't send them the links because I don't want anybody to use the Google business profile or other platforms to say anything but great things about me. So how do you do it? How do you get these reviews? So I'm going to go through a couple techniques I use. I recommend you always ask. I made a mistake years ago of assuming a woman I knew through the soccer club that we had many conversations during the years. She wrote me the worst email back I've ever seen because she was mad about something that I didn't even know about. So I should have called her and say, hey, let's call her Susie. I'm working on my reviews. I've given you advice in the past. I helped you out with that case. But she was harboring some bad feelings I didn't even know about. So always ask. You can email, text, and then ask again if you need to. This is a slide that just shows you the conversation. Like I said, would you be willing to write a review? Yes, I would gladly do it. But many people that say they love you and will write the review just never get around to it. So you're not going to get 100% return on the try for asking, but you want to vet these reviews. I also have a series of emails that I've written. Some have been longer than others. It's a trial and error thing, but here's a sample email where you ask for the review, you say how important it is to you, and you give the link. There's a screenshot showing that there's a search for my firm, Woodadder and Wolf, and the zip code. And if you see on the right side, that's the Google Business Profile page. And what I've done is replicate what some other paid services do. So you can go with some paid services like Bird Eye or Reputation Tracker. I use them for a little bit. But what I did is I took the idea and I made my own landing page that is only, you can only locate it by typing in the term. It's not searchable or crawlable. Tim knows more about that kind of stuff, but you have to direct a person to this page, and it has some of the platforms that I use, which includes Justia, FindLawLawyers.com, Avo, the Google, and Top Rated Local, which is a relatively unknown one, but something that can be used by law firms and other businesses. I also had set up a website a few years ago. Again, I'm not using it as much anymore, but I like the concept. It's called ratedavidw.com. So where it has a link for each of the review sites. I need to go to that site and update it. But that's another concept you may try where you don't have it searchable, but you can point people to it. And it also explains the importance of reviews. So somebody else made that recommendation from another seminar. So I've used that and I've gotten a good number of reviews by using that tool. Going back to, again, it's interchangeable here because of the name, the Google Maps. You can use a tiny URL to shorten the name or just hyperlink it within the email itself. And there's a graphic just showing when you do the search with the zip code that you find the page. And I've gone as far, I did this on PowerPoint, which is, or Keynote, which is the same as PowerPoint. I send this little diagram to clients showing them the step-by-step way to post a review. And this seems to help. So walk them through it. Why make it any harder for the client that's trying to help you out? So it's a 4-step process. It's pretty easy to do, but you got to ask and re-ask and email. And what I have here is a progression because I've only been paying more attention to the online reputation stuff with some consistency since 2016. So my firm was basically rocking at no reviews back in 2016. And a couple of years in, we had 70 reviews, 5-star rating. And now to the present day, we're up to 288 reviews and a 5-star rating, which is a very good presence. I also set up a page for myself, unless things have changed. Individual lawyers within a firm, like a doctor's practice, can have their own Google page. You just can't re-reference the firm. So it's something to consider. So I set up one for myself. And in 2017, I had no reviews. I was really working hard on this one. I grew it to 171 all client, perfectly legitimate reviews over a couple of years. And now I'm at 441 reviews because I am asking for reviews just about every day, but I'm not at 100% return on the ask. So it's probably could be in the thousands that I've asked, but it's the law of numbers. The more you ask, the more likely you are to get. And rarely do people gratuitously just go and write you a love note on your Google page. You usually have to ask for it. I don't have it in the presentation, but Yelp is another option for getting reviews, but Yelp has a whole algorithm in place. So I don't put much time into Yelp because it's very hard to get reviews to stick on Yelp because you have to be a regular Yelp user and Yelp will take down your reviews. So Yelp's not part of the presentation because their algorithm, I think, is hard to deal with. So when you get this many reviews, there's a typical review. I highly recommend this firm. The person worked with me for a few years, and this really goes a good distance to securing new clients, or somebody's gonna hire you. It just only confirms that you're the right place for that potential client. Um, Again, as I stated, you don't ask, I don't think you get. I recommend you send an email link. You could follow up with a phone call, email, or both. And I always thank the person. I always send an email or make a phone call. I take a screenshot of the review if I can. And it's also important for the search engine optimization of this that you go into the Google Business Map under your portal and write a reply, because people like to see that you're appreciating what other people are posting, that you're a real person. Going on to the next directory, this is not in any order. I think that the Avo directory is good. I think it had more impact and presence a few years ago. I think it's waned a little bit, but you can set up a free profile, but the free profile is limited as to how far it will reach on a search and what information you have on there. Avo is now owned by Thomson Reuters, which is the same company that's running lawyers.com in Martindale, but they are separate by directories. So for the Avo directory, they only have lawyers and not law firms. The paid profiles are more robust, and there is a rating system of sorts that is based on your experience, your completion of the profile, your reviews by clients, and endorsements by attorneys. So this is a directory where you can get reviews by clients and endorsements by attorneys. Here is my profile. Again, I just started doing this 2015 through 17. I was looking fairly strong back then. I had 10 reviews. I had a nice rating. I had endorsements by attorneys. I thought I could do better. So I worked on it. I filled out the profile, which isn't hard, to list your education and any kind of speaking engagements, publications. I probably need to update it. And now I think I have a few more now, but 485 reviews. So I'm among the top rated injury lawyers in the state of Florida as the number of reviews on Avo. And that wasn't easy getting there. That was a lot of work. Now, what makes Avo a choice as a secondary review is their review platform is very easy to do. And it seems that people have an easier time getting through the Avo review than other platforms. So that's it. It's just adding a title meaning wonderful attorney or great experience, not what your title is in life. So that's a little confusing. You write the review and post your name. You can be anonymous and then submit it. Same thing with endorsements. Usually attorneys just don't post them. You need to ask. So I think endorsements are nice to have. And same concept about calling, emailing, texting, calling. And I'm also incorporated as of the last month Zoom, that I'm walking people through the process, which has a greater success rate than calling or emailing. You're actually showing them how to do it, and they're seeing the importance of what it is by saying, this is really important over Zoom. Another little recommendation, again, I would defer to people smarter than me and have the tech experience. My understanding, you do not want to have the person in your office off of that same IP address and post these reviews on Google, because then Google will think you're astroturfing your reviews. So you got to be careful on what you do and where you do it. So I just play it safe. I don't have anybody log into my Wi-Fi or IP address at work. I always have it do it from another place. So I talked about the Zoom conference. So I've done about 3 or 4 in each one. I'm rocking at 100%, but it is time consuming. So that's what you're going to find. If you put in the time, there will be a good return on what your reputation turns into, what your marketing turns to. But it did take some time to walk through each platform. Um, Going through the progression of the Avo profile, you get some badges if you write certain content for Avo, which I have, and I had 240 reviews, 115 endorsements. And I'm not giving you these metrics to say how great I am. I'm just saying that how you could do these things, because I did all this with some resources and help from marketing companies, but I didn't have a marketing representative. I didn't have a legal assistant doing this. I did this all on my own. So for those that don't even have a staff, you can do this again if it's top of mind awareness. So as I'm sitting today on Avo, they added something which I don't love. It shows you how many endorsements given, which will show you I've posted endorsements with 218 attorneys that I've had business with, contact with, that I've referred cases to, I've worked on cases with. So, and I've received 138. So it's a little bit more than half, but that's representative of what it takes to get the endorsements and reviews. Going on to lawyers.com, it's a little um, more involved on posting the review. You have to click on some more buttons. And for those of you that should know this, the rating system is done separately. So you can't get a rating or endorsement by an attorney online. It has to go through their vetting process. So I am AV rated, which is something that doesn't cost any money. So for anybody that's been out for several years, I recommend you go through the vetting process where you, as it used to be, you list 15 attorneys and 5 judges, depending on your practice area, and you can get rated that way. So for lawyers.com, there is a listing, I believe, for law firms. There is a listing for attorneys within the law firm. And like Avo, it's a bit of pay for play about how robust your listing is and how far it goes geographically. So I made the decision I wasn't going to pay $1 on the advertising for lawyers or Avo until I was happy with my profile. So right now I pay a few $100s a month. I don't know what it is for each one, so that I have the best presence when there's a search, a general search, and then a search within the directory. Again, with lawyers.com, you search by name, location. Talked about attorney reviews or ratings are controlled by Martin Del Hubble. You do get a nice badge that you can help promote. So again, I recommend you go through all these resources and platforms and get what you can as the recognition or awards, because the only thing it's costing is time for the most part. And that's what a lot of these techniques are showing you, that you don't have to pour millions of dollars, but there is a time commitment here to get to where you want to go. Going through the visual instructions for lawyers, I've also created some graphics for clients here. I don't have as many lawyer.com reviews because I don't always give it out, and it's tougher to get through their questionnaire. They also have a Client Champion Platinum Award that I've earned. That's where you have a certain rating and a certain number of reviews. So it's something nice to have that I've hit the mark on for the past 5 or 6 years. But going through the review, it's not that complicated, but there's more areas to click on and more detail to go through. And not that hard, but a little bit more involved than Avo. I started out 2015 with 15 reviews. I had the AV rating, and I had 100% recommended from clients. I use the same techniques. 2 years, I grew to 106 reviews. As you can see, they added that Client Champion badge. And then I think this is present. Yeah, 219 reviews, 99% recommended. I don't know where that 1% went. And as you can see, that because Avo and lawyers combine, they kind of show each other's reviews and show each other's awards. Going on to Justia, Justia allows you to have a free, most robust profile without digging into your pocket. So many people don't have a Justia lawyer directory listing. Go ahead and do it. It doesn't cost you anything. What Justia has done is they have a lot of free law content. So they're among the most recognized by educational institutions and Google for their search. I believe over time, Justia will be the leader by leaps and bounds over Avvo and lawyers.com with their content, also FindLaw. So for Justia, you can search by name, location, attorneys of individual profiles. I believe that Justia values or promotes attorney reviews more so than client reviews, but clients can review too. So the nice thing with Justia, when you get a review, you've earned it because it's a rather detailed questionnaire. So Justia is about quality control. They want every review to be real and robust, and they vet them. So it's a rather long questionnaire. So I don't give this to a lot of clients, only the ones that I think can get their way through this review. So it is a bit lengthy. So Justia does have some badges too, or a badge that under the lawyer reviews if you get them. So I don't know. It's been several years that they've had the reviews in place, but not as long as the other directories. It's been developing the Justia lawyer directory. So I believe now I'm at 43 client reviews and 39 attorney reviews. And when you do searches within your location, I found that Justia shows up well when somebody's typing in best personal injury attorney or best probate attorney. You're going to see among the things on the front page is Justia. So I'm not here to sell you on Justia or any of the other things. I'm telling you what I use, and one of my best resources has been Justia that runs one of my websites and 3 of my blogs, and it's helped me with some nice guidance on my Google Business Profile page. So that covers reviews, and I'm going to get into some more homegrown grassroots type of marketing now. Some of it's kind of silly and goofy because I have fun with it. I don't play golf or drink much or vacation much. So I really like the marketing part. So it's a bit trial and error. So anything that you see here that sparks your interest to do something custom for your firm, terrific. Use it, run with it. The best resource I've come across is I got a freelance graphic designer. So I have an idea. I email him. He brings it to life. I only pay him for the work that he does by time. And he is available. He has bandwidth to take on more clients. So anybody who wants to email me or contact me, I can put you in touch with them. So that's been an important part of adding content to my website, adding some things to my Google pages, and doing some of these fun marketing projects. So I still believe in the business card marketing. What's in your wallet? Always carry a business card. What's in your contacts wallet? I did some free stuff for this lady, and she shows up at the hospital, a family friend, and what does she show up with? Her Medicare card, her driver's license, and my business card. So she had my card in her wallet. With business card marketing, you want to have the basic information, your email, your website needs to be professionally designed. I put my mobile number on there. Some people who do family law don't want that privacy breached, but again, that's up to you. I like the idea of a logo, catchphrase, and certainly there's a difference between an original design or a traditional design for a business card. I've used Vistaprint. I believe they're a cheap way to go, but there's probably other printing businesses local to you. And right now, my graphic designer prints them for me through his contact. I try to give a business card to every client, prospective client, relative, friend, anybody you help, anybody who helps you, anybody you have contact with. This has been or was my business card for many years. I think it's a proficient business card. Uh, it has somewhat of a logo on it, has the practice areas, but I've expanded out from this basic business card to something with a bit more pop. So I've really focused over the past 6, 7 years on bringing my name, the Wolf, into it. But even if you don't have a fun name, you can incorporate any kind of symbol or mascot into your marketing, just to make something memorable. I don't think the card with the box on it to the left, as you can see, is that memorable versus the blue-eyed wolf there. I think that has a nice pop to it. And I've even expanded past that. I was in Walgreens and I saw these playing cards. I said, oh, how about a business card that looks like a playing card? So this came from my graphic designer. Um, these have been a lot of fun to give out. They kind of look at them for a few minutes and it's just something to work with. I did one for my family law lawyer and it was, I think it was a Queen of Hearts with a broken heart, had to do with family law. So you can incorporate different things into your practice of what strikes you. Again, this isn't for everybody. Not everyone's going to want to have a playing card out there. That's their card. It might seem a little goofy. So again, you got to go with your own comfort level and your style. Here's another one. I have a beach office where I'm sitting at right now, Flagler Beach, and I printed out these cards. I've done quite a few bicycle cases, and I printed out 500 cards, and I brought 200 cards to the local bike shop, and I said, here are my cards, anybody that needs help. And I've done that with dealerships and other businesses where I drop off a set of cards. So another fun concept with bicyclists, a nice different color scheme. I think it works. I also started a community service organization of sorts where I've written 100 newsletters on people making a difference in the community. I have a website. I have an Instagram page that needs more attention. I have a Facebook page, but my name's tied to something positive. It doesn't always have to be law. So whatever you're interested, whether it's cars or fishing or golf or turtle conservancy, just run with it. And I learned years ago that don't incorporate a hobby that you're really not into. People will see through you. So whatever you enjoy doing, go with that. Like Tim is very much into pugs and he has a pug page with like, I don't know, 4 million followers or something. And he does it because it's fun and it's nice to tie your name. Who doesn't love a pug? That's what I would say. So, I've had cards printed up and, chips and buttons, and I have fun with the Good Deed Brigade. This is something else that's cool. This is $99. It's called Tap Talk. There's other services out there. This is a metal card that I just got 2 days ago. I got an updated one. I got a logo on there. It's a digital business card. You hold it to the back of a phone and it transfers all your information into that person's phone. And there's a portal to show you how many cards you give out. So that's a nice icebreaker. I carry it around in my wallet and I'm going to have fun with that. I actually did a metal card. Did this, I think, out of a company in Canada, I believe. These were about $5 to $6 a piece. Came out really nice, and I printed out or I manufactured 100 or 200, and I gave them to my best referral sources because they refer me business. It's here's my lawyer, and my little thing with my best referral sources. I said, if it's a small case, keep the card. If it's a really big case, give them the card. I'll get you a new one. So I think the metal cards, again, they have a good pop to them. And what's $5 to get your name out there? Beyond business cards, I've done, keychains. Now, this has worked quite well for me. I think I've printed out 15,000 poker chips. I got these from Belgium. There's a company, Belgium or the Netherlands. And I was worried about giving my credit card overseas, but this place delivered. It's called B Token. And I had my graphic designer custom design them. There were 1,000 chips for $200. this was my first design. It's too busy, and unless you're under the age of 22, you can't read this. So I improved upon the image as something better. And then I incorporated for $150 through Ring Boost. I don't represent any of these companies. I'm just telling you who I use. I bought a couple vanity numbers. So I got 500 Wolf, and that rolls over through Ring Central to my cell phone. So again, something memorable, something that people like. Any kind of restaurant I go to, I bring the chips. Anybody I run into, I always have a handful of chips in my pocket. That's a modification. Again, I came up with the In Wolf We Trust, and also came up with a motorcycle chip for the biker crowd. Those are Harley colors. I think you guys see that. And I also incorporated these lucky chips for the Good Deed Brigade. And, what's the harm of giving something a little lucky 4-leaf clover? Telling people they're doing nice things. You're doing nice things. Another marketing project I did, and when I was showing this to Tim was saying, boom, 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 you have all these ideas in the reviews. It's great. So that's what this is. It's called the Boom, Boom, Boom Review Seminar. But this is a minted, styled after a challenge coin with the Navy, Army. They have challenge coins. I got this done in Pennsylvania. If you email me, I can give you the name, but a custom minted 1 3/4 inch coin. And I gave this to a client that I signed up. He was a veteran from World War II. Good first meeting, got it signed up. And it had nothing to do with it, but I knew it was a big case. It settled for about $600,000, and I gave him a $6 coin, and he was happy at the beginning. And I'm going to be getting him a bit more at the end, but I think that's kind of a cool thing to do. It's different. I've also done ribbons. There's a company, I think TR Trammell, in the Midwest, and we did this when I sponsored a soccer club. I have these to give out to people doing nice things in the community for the Good Deed Brigade, and you can write with a pen on that white area. And this is another nice touch that I've put all these things in place, and now that I see my seminar, I got to go back and send some of those boxes out. This is a box that's, I don't know, about 4 inches by 4 inches or so. It was custom made. There's no way I could have designed it because you have to put some of the panels upside down because it folds into a box. It's called Pack Lane. It costs $2. So I've put in coins and business cards and gift cards and sent them out. This is a really nice way to send things versus going to FedEx and putting it in an oversized box. So those boxes have been a nice touch too. So as you see, you got to take an idea, get it to a concept, and then put it into action. That's what you got to do. So recently I've gone with the Funko Pop. I said to my graphic designer, "Can you design me?" So he gave me a 7 head, which is much bigger than a 4 head, but that's what I got going on. And then I found a guy on Etsy for $96. He made a real one for me. So I've had some fun with that on social media. And then I incorporated it into a business card and actually did my New Year's card. I do an annual New Year's card with a mail out about 600 folks. So, again, as you see, I'm all over the map with my colors and themes, but I'm having fun, and I think a lot of it does stick. Let's talk about the books that I've written. First book I wrote, 2010, I took a ski trip out to Colorado, and I liked writing the book more than I liked skiing because I couldn't get hurt writing the book. First book was called The ABCs of Child Injury. And so over time, I kind of figured out the process, which isn't that hard. So to write a book, it can be in any topic, any practice area. It can be any page length because these books mostly I distribute by PDF. You can have a well-researched treatise with footnotes and case sites. I don't go that route. I go the route of discussing and writing about what I know, what I tell clients, mostly in the field of personal injury. There are books out there. One of them's called Speak a Book. I've never used them, where they call you, you talk to them, and they write the book for you. Probably less time consuming. So there's other routes to go. I think, like the Google business profile, having a book in place is pretty pivotal and won't cost you very much money. So um, from start to beginning, getting it typeset, getting a cover, back cover designed, uh, my graphic designer, freelance solo guy, soup to nuts, $1,000. Yeah, but you got to write it. So you see the automobile accident book, and that's on the website. And I think it's a pretty nice display of the books that I have available for people on these range of topics. You see the Harley book with the Harley covers, colors. You see the automobile accident book. And I need to work on my social media, but this was several years ago. I finished my bikes, trikes, and automobile book. I posted it on Facebook, and about 3 weeks later, I got a call on I think it was a $200,000 bicycle case that settled with a $50,000 fee. So that one post turned into $50,000. Now I need to post more, but I don't think you're going to get that kind of return on investment. But it shows you the power of a book. It's a free giveaway. I promote it on the website. I promote it on the Google business profile. I promote it on all my attorney platforms, and some of the content's on the website too. But you just start out with one article and write something, start writing, and then make it cohesive in a table of contents, and boom, you have a book. Here's that motorcycle book, and I did it with another attorney, so you also had that option. And there's what the About the Author page looks like. It looks nice. It looks professional. And we got a little wolf theme going on. We have the different chapter titles, and there's some good information in here. So somebody's looking for a motorcycle accident attorney, or I sign up a motorcycle accident case, I send the book out by PDF, and I use a service called Hightail, which is kind of like Dropbox, $10 a month. So I made my money more in Hightail. I really like that service. It sends out the book so it doesn't clog up your email or theirs, and also gives you a return receipt that they got the book. They're great giveaways, the books. It's great content for the website. When you write an article like about the motorcycle accidents, or right away of bikers, or yield to bikers, at the end I say David Wolf's the author of 12 books, including the book titled Watching Out for a Motorcyclist. So it's a good promo with any content you have, and it's great for your bios and online profiles. Talking about building your brand, which we've seen. How do you build your brand? Well, you can build it on your name. If you're lucky enough to have a name like mine, it's a little easier, but you can associate any kind of imagery to your name. You want to promote your business practices, your geographic location. So not everything on your website has to be law. It can be about local areas of interest, history. Show people that you're local, show people that you live there, show people the area, about your community service, about your hobbies and interests. So I have a friend that's a car enthusiast, so he posts some things about his cars on his website. That's what he likes to do. Another attorney does a fishing tournament every year. So, again, not one size fits all. Think about what you do, what you're interested in, and the more human and humane you look on your website and through your different platforms, I think the more your brand will stick. We've been talking about what resources I have, which I've been lucky, because I think having a reliable graphic designer is like a handyman. Sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do good work, sometimes they don't. So I'm very visual. So I did this entire PowerPoint keynote presentation on my own, but all the graphics that are here were done by someone else. I just kind of cut and pasted them. I need to work on social media. That may be your thing. I know an attorney does a tremendous job with videos, and I know a friend of mine's on the seminar today. They do a tremendous amount of community service in Miami, in the Kendall area. They do a great job with that. So you kind of pick what your strengths are, pick what you're good at. And since Google, since COVID, we went remote for a good bit of time, and I've been somewhat reclusive, but I still been able to keep the marketing going. So I could definitely be out there more, but I've decided this or figured this out. You can't do everything as a solo and small firm. You can't be everywhere at every time. You got to pick and choose where your dollars go, where your time goes, and what works for you. So what works for you may not work for me. I don't have a lot of videos out there. I don't do a lot with social media, but I could and plan to. Um, Going, furthermore about telling your story, about your domain name, about getting those business cards out, doing a newsletter. We talked about online reputation. There's those directors we talked about, the book authorship and community service. And I hope this has sparked a few things for you that you say, oh, I could do that. Or, if you're doing any community service, if you're on the board of anything, there should be a page on your website, not just to show, hey, look what I'm doing, look how great I am, but help to promote the organization that you support. Write good things about them, put links on there. Then there's marketing for the fun of it, which you've seen some of it. I opened up this beach office. I was supposed to have this as a place of respite where I would take it easy and not work, and that lasted 3 weeks. And I opened an office a mile from my beach house, and I said, well, let's go with the beach theme. And I've never been on a surfboard, but I have one on my door, and I did the beach chips, and I have the most handsome of all models of my biker shirt, Mr. Tim Stanley. Sent him a shirt thanking him for all the help he's given. And on that shirt, it also says website powered by Justia, because I'm really appreciative for all the help that they've given. So going on to the social media, again, you see mix match. He has all kinds of things out there. I mainly post as an individual. I did customize my LinkedIn page. So I know LinkedIn works well, probably for probate lawyers, maybe family law lawyers, estate planning. So I had my graphic designer put together a custom banner. So I think it puts a nice touch to the LinkedIn page. And that's my dog's going to be 16 in May. So that dog's really flying high, even though he's blind and deaf these days, but he's still my little mascot. Other things, I'm big into badges and putting these on the website. There also is a GIF that I add to going back. You see a GIF there that is an email signature. Also can text that GIF. There's a howling wolf. If you see that, it'd be nice if it made sound too, but it's nice that it just howls. So that's a nice touch. Again, something memorable. And if you see at the bottom, recycling or reusing, some of the designations I have: super lawyer, Justia, 10.0 rating, AVO, and Martindale Hubble. And I'm sure there's other designations out there that you can help promote. And also, I'm a 30-year member of the Florida Bar, and I had a badge made for that, even though the Florida Bar didn't send me anything, except the dues. Congratulations, 30 years, 31 years, pay your dues. There's a new graphic that I need to incorporate into the firm's letterhead, and I think it's on the website. So we put the silhouette of the city of Jacksonville on there, and it's a nice visual presentation. I think better than the box. It kind of makes you think and see and associate it with Jacksonville. And I did a similar one for Flagler Beach. There's that shirt that Tim's wearing, and I only printed out about 2436. We have something called Bike Week in Daytona. We're in Flagler Beach, about 30 minutes from there. So my neighbors are all bikers, lined up, took the shirt and posed for a picture or two. So again, something I'm having fun with, and I've done quite a few motorcycle cases with very good success and results. This is one I'm going to bring back that I did a few years ago. I saw this and I said, that's cool. And I converted it into a Get D Wolf type of cards. That was a business card and theme that I can also run with. Um, Call me crazy, but I think Donald Trump wanted to be on Mount Rushmore. I'm actually on Mount Rushmore, so I actually made it. So I repost that out at President's Day and different things, and it's just a fun theme. Again, I had my graphic designer put it together. Also did a comic book that I only got past the cover, so I capitalized on the Better Call Saul series, which I liked, although he's a bit shady. So as you can see, that was 5 years ago, but I could update that, and that was fun to do. And that also turned into a business card. We talked about the Funko Pop. Um, I got I got two of those, one at home and one at work, and those have been a lot of fun to do. And there's the actual real one. Other marketing tools. This is somewhat new. This is $18 a month. I call it a flip book. And if you go to my website, davidallenwolf.com, and you scroll down, you'll see the flip book. And again, another way to promote your reviews or promote my reviews. So it's a book that flips. I don't have it on the presentation. I couldn't quite figure that out. But as you can see, it's a nice design. I had my graphic artist do that. And then when you get to the website, it flips, and I put my 15 or 20 top reviews, and it's something that, reinforces I'm well reviewed. Here are some of my philosophies on handling a case, and it's a nice touch. And at $20 a month, it doesn't break the bank, and another tool you can use. I got this idea from a realtor that I got the realtor's email, and they had the flip book, and I looked, oh, it's issue. So ISSUU, something you can check into. So I zipped through the concepts for you. You're welcome to call me. I'm not going to sell myself to you, but I'm happy to share my graphic designer and some of these ideas. There was a lot of them shared today. A couple other things I recommend. I use something called Evernote, which is a searchable notebook that you can have. And I put all my reviews on a page so I can search them, so I can see, did this person post a review for me before? I put all of the website pages that I've written, and I'm crazy, and I think I'm a good representative client for Justia. I've written 300 pages of content for the website, and everything from the standard, what do you do in a motorcycle accident? What do you do in a trucking accident? To when I was 18, I went to work at McDonald's, and how my experience was at McDonald's. And I still eat the food, so it wasn't a bad experience. So there's different themes and concepts in there, because I'm basically showing I've been working since I was 14. I know what it's like to work and the importance of working. And, I'm trying to market myself to the working people and saying I'm a regular person too. I would document where you are on your platforms, where you are with your reviews, so you can see the progress, and make it a priority. So it's like the gym. If you go to the gym for a month, you might be doing well, and then you stop doing it, and then you gain back all the weight. So it has to be an everyday type of muscle that you develop, and celebrate when you see the results. And I definitely do that, because I go back and I said, oh, I got this nice case. Where did it come? Oh, it came from Google reviews. Oh, it came from the Avo direct. Oh, it came from the book. They requested the book. So you're going to see all these different tools work, I think, and not break the bank, as we talked about. So I am now open for questions, if there are any.
Thank you, David. Yes, we can now move on to the participant questions. We already have a few here, but if you do have questions for David that you'd like to ask, please feel free to put them in that Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. As I mentioned, we already have a few, so we can go ahead and jump right in. It looks like the first one we have is, do you think it's useful to use the same strategies as the big law firms in my area, or should my approach be different?
Well, I think I covered that through some of the slides. So my opinion is you can use bits and pieces of them, but you're not going to be able to keep pace with the big firms financially. So you got to figure out what you can afford and what you can do. And again, what I do may not work for you. I don't think anybody's going to do exactly what I do, but if you incorporate bits and pieces of it based on your budget, I think it can work. But I don't think you can, run 22 uh, billboards and 10 TV ads a day. You're not going to be able to keep pace. So actually, I promote myself in part as come to me if you don't want a big box firm or you don't want an advertising firm. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I mentioned that people can advertise. That's just not me because some people don't want an advertising attorney. Some people don't want a big firm. So market what your strength is. I'm not a big firm. And if you want a big firm, then I'm not the right place for you. If you want somebody who doesn't know your name or you're going to be shuffled around from one lawyer to the next, then, you know, maybe I'm the person for you. But that's a good question though.
Thank you. Looks like our next question is kind of related to your answer, but it's how can I be most cost effective when I'm marketing for my firm?
Well, number one, I think you need to take advantage of what's free. And the best free thing that's out there is the Google Business Profile page. It's free, but you have to have it attached to an office and you have to have it attached to a website. So it's not completely free because you have to have those things in place. But my office here in Flagler Beach, which is a beach town of 5,000 people, is less than $600. And I really like it. It's quiet. I'm a mile from my house. I'm a mile from the beach. And it's worked and it's only been around for, I don't know, a year and a half, but it's definitely in the black and doing well, not breaking the bank for what I'm doing here.
Thank you. Looks like our next question, and I think the last one that we'll have time for today, is what is a marketing strategy that you have seen give you the best results or ROI?
Okay. That's a great question. I'm going to have to say, and I've focused on it currently. So what applies currently is not what applied years ago, because years ago I was blog heavy and I wrote 4,000 child injury articles that are still out there, but I was putting a lot of my effort and time into blog writing, which I need to get back to, something I started. But I really think it's the reviews and your reputation, because that's what people are looking for, some assurance they're hiring the right person and a good person. And by getting reviews from people that aren't within the law firm, you're not yourself, by actual people that you've represented, are the best way. And I do believe those other things in there, from the business cards to the books, have also shown, great returns on investment. But really what you're going to have to commit to, I believe, as a solo or small firm, is some money and maybe more time than money. So if you can do that, I think you can be successful. I also wanted to put out there my website, that if anybody wants to contact me, I've made some great friends and great referral sources, and I believe what comes around goes around. So I am not making any money from this. Actually, I lost $33 because I sent Tim a T-shirt, so I'm losing money on this presentation. But you can go to davidallenwolf.com, fill out the contact form, and if you want any of my ideas, you want to see any of the books, you want me to put you in touch with the graphic designer, you want me to repeat any of these vendors I use, I'm happy to share it with you, because this is what I'm good at. And I believe if you're good at something, you should share it, because you might get some resources from the other person that might be good at something else. So go to the website, call me. You can check out my Justia profile too. If you Google me, you're going to find me. And I think that is something very important to see. Well, let's look at what this looks like. So Google for an injury lawyer in Jacksonville, Google for me, and you'll see what I've put in place. And again, I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. I'm saying I'm amazed at what I've done as a solo or a small firm without spending the millions of dollars. So it's a big impact for a lot of time and not as much of a spend. That's my thought.
Well, thank you, David, for your presentation and answering all of the questions. And thank you all who submitted questions. We're almost out of time for today, so I'm going to go ahead and hand things back over to Marina to wrap things up.
Thanks, Nina, and thank you, David, and thanks to all of you for being here. I very much enjoyed David had to say today, everything he told us. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos on law practice and legal marketing. See you in our next video.